Hey class, it's Miss Jones here. Today we're going to be talking about the area of a circle. Now before we can get into that formula, we need to remind ourselves about pi. You've heard about pi before, and this should be something that you've seen, but we're going to go over it and make sure that it's in your notes very nicely. Pi is a symbol, and it's pronounced pie, but there's no E, so you can't eat it. Pi is an irrational number, meaning that the decimal goes on, it never ends, and it never repeats. Let's put that in there. It never repeats. So, if I were to take pi, which is this number right here, it goes on forever. That's what those three dots mean. Typically, we like to round it to 3.14. Well, how did we get this big, long, weird number? I'm so glad you asked. It is the ratio of the circumference over the diameter, meaning the circumference, this part, divided by diameter, this part. If you take those two and create a ratio on any circle, it will be pi. This number plays a special part in the area of a circle. Let me show you. Here we have the formula for the area of a circle. As you're taking notes, you could add this on or start a new page like I did. Either would be okay, but you are going to want to highlight this formula because it will be important. There, it's highlighted. Now, let's go ahead and use this formula with our example circle. The formula says that the area equals pi times the radius squared. Now, because my calculator does not have a pi button, I will be rounding and using 3.14 in the place of pi. Okay, you see that right there? And then we are going to multiply that by the radius squared. Now our radius is 8, so that comes from there, and it should be squared. So, I have everything filled into the formula. I should be ready for some calculator work. I've got my calculator. As I'm calculating, I need to remember the order of operations. It's tempting just to start from this side and multiply it on through, but that doesn't fit with order of operations. Order of operations says, parentheses, we don't have any of those, but then exponents. This exponent has to come before anything else. So let's write that down. First thing we have to do is we need to handle exponents. In this case, the 8 squared. Now let's remember that 8 squared means 8 times 8. See how there's 2 of them? And I'm multiplying both of them together. All right. So I've got my calculator, and I'm going to do 8 times 8 equals 64. So 8 squared equals 64. Okay, so I've taken care of the 8 squared. I still need to bring down and multiply pi, or 3.14. Okay, so that'll be our second step, will be to do the multiplication. Multiply. I need to do 64 times 3.14. And I get 200.96. So the area of this rectangle equals 296, let's call it centimeters, squared, because these are square centimeters within our circle. Okay, that's a good example. Let's do it one more time to make sure that we understand. Okay, I have another circle, and this time my radius, 4.5, has a decimal in it. Ooh, it's hard to read. 4.5. There we go. That's okay. We can use decimals because we have calculators. Let's do this. So our area needs to equal pi, which we've rounded off to 3.14, times the radius, right? It said radius, squared. So that would be 4.5 squared. We're going to follow our same steps as last time. First, we need to take care of this exponent. We need to take care of squared. So we need 4.5 multiplied 2 times because of that squared right there. I'm so glad calculators were invented. Let's use it. 4.5 times 4.5 equals 20.25. Awesome. We have that part taken care of. Now I need to go through and remember to multiply by pi. Just bring that on down. And I multiply in my calculator. And I got an area of 63.585. And in this example, we were using inches squared. Now, as I look at this answer that we got for both of these times, when we look at it, sometimes we will want to round off the answer so that we don't have so many decimal points. This time I'm going to round to the hundredths place, which is this place right here. When we round, we look at the number right next to it. If it's 5 or higher, I'm going to round it up. If it's less than 5, you don't do anything. It stays as is. All the extras can drop off. Since this one is 5 or higher, that would mean I would need to round my answer so that the hundredths, the number I have boxed off, needs to round up. So instead of an 8, I would put a 9. And there we have it. The area of this circle rounded to the hundredths place. Good job. Let's practice.